The person you have to spend the most time listening to in your life is yourself. Try not to lose their respect. How on earth do you think that you're going to be able to move mountains and get out of that relationship that you don't like and move countries or change career when you can't not hit snooze, even though last night you promised yourself that you weren't going to hit snooze? And it's how people that are able to do extraordinary things have been able to get there, that they've just started off unbelievably small, right? I'm just not going to hit the snooze button.
Do you remember who you were before the world told you who you should be? Anytime you gotta be courageous, you got your dream, your goal, and your aspiration, and then you got reality. It's almost like when you feel something that you should do, and for some strange reason, like your mind or your spirit tells you, nah, I don't wanna do it, because it takes you outside of your comfort zone, and it puts you in a space and place that may be unknown, or it puts you in a space and place of uncharted territory. But you know you should do it, you can feel it. And all it does is make the route a lot longer. God's plan for your life is gonna manifest. You can delay it, right? By being stubborn, the plan gonna happen.
Yes.
We can delay it, right? When we don't wanna be courageous, when we don't wanna encounter that level of faith that we know we need along our journey for our goals, dreams, and aspirations. You can delay it, but courage, that's a different ball game.
The generation that I grew up in, your parents were always like doctor, lawyer, all these big jobs that you do. Happy is what you should want your kids to be. What makes you happy? What is it that you love and that you're passionate about and that you want to get up every day and do? You want your kids to be happy. You don't want to just go get some job where you sit in bumper to bumper traffic every day and go sit in a cubicle at a job you hate just to pay your bills. Right. You have to figure out who you are and what excites you. What are you passionate about? And I truly believe that when you figure that out, it all just sort of falls into place, because when you get up every day and you would do something for 13 to 15 hours and it doesn't feel like work, how do you not succeed?
Always stick to what makes you weird, odd, strange, different. That's your source of power. Occupy your niche. Embrace your strangeness, identify what makes you different, fuse those things together and become an anomaly.
Here's the deal. 5 years from now, you can be who you would like to be, and you can have what you need within the bounds of reason, if you specify it. So if you could be who you would like to be, and if you could have what you think you need, in principle, what would that look like? Well, you start specify targets. So we say, well, write it down for 15 minutes. Don't get too self-critical. Just think, we ask questions. Who do you admire and why? And what do you think you need and why?
And when people tell you you can't, people tell you you won't, people tell you you're shit, your dreams are too big, you're never going to accomplish them, when are you going to grow up and get realistic? When your girlfriends leave you, your boyfriends abandon you, when all this shit happens, we got to know what to do with this energy. Otherwise, it f***s us up. It paralyzes us. It makes us ineffective. So you have to understand the fundamental basic skill set of harnessing this energy. And it's very simple. We take all the negative, we take all the frustration, we take all the things that piss us off, and we don't lash back out at those people. We take it, and every single time that we feel like not doing what we should do, every single time we feel like quitting, every single time we feel like throwing in the towel, we go up here and we list down the things that people have said to us. We list down the things that people have done to us, and we find the energy to go take productive action.
Do not compare yourself to other people that are farther along the journey and assume that you're going to get there overnight. Once again, the killer of joy is comparison. You need to run away from that. And finally, you need to understand that you must be willing to sacrifice who you are today for who you want to become tomorrow. You have to sacrifice who you are today for who you want to become tomorrow. The Bible, there's a verse in the Bible that says, when I became a man, I put away childish things. You can't become the best version of yourself unless you're willing to neglect who you are today. The bad habits, the bad friendships, the bad relationships, the bad ideas, the bad mindset. Because if you want to become a millionaire, if you want to become a person that's successful, if you want to develop a better physique, it will require sacrifice. And if you want to get to the next level, it'll cost you. There is a price to success. It hurts. Like you've had to neglect friends.
Yeah.
You've had to neglect certain comments from family members.
Yeah.
You've had to work overnight for years and years, and nobody's gonna see that.
Yeah.
Nobody, but that's the price. And you will either live the price with two aspects, because you're gonna pay the price regardless of life. You will pay the price of discipline and hard work, or you will pay the price of regret.
If you want to be great,
want to be the baddest motherfucker ever at what you do, you're going to be misunderstood by everybody because you're going to be so fucking obsessed and so driven to get there. That's what it takes.
That's the truth.
It takes every second of your fucking life. Anybody says balance? Yeah, balance is important for a lot of fucking people. It is. But if you want to fucking go to that edge where people do not like you, don't understand you, question everything you fucking do, you've arrived. When you are misunderstood to the point where fucking people think you're psycho and you're nuts and you're this and that, why are you in the fucking gym at 1 o'clock in the fucking morning? You just got to doing an op for fucking 13, 14 hours at the Ranger School, man, at the gym. What is wrong? You will never understand what is wrong with me. And that's why I'm so fucking glad you don't, because I'm in the right fucking spot. When people don't understand you anymore, you're in that spot of obsession and drive where people are like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? I don't want to talk to you, man, because you're not going to get it.
You got to want it first. Then you got to work it. Then you have the opportunity to win it. But it all starts with your want. You got to want this. I can't want this for you. You got to want this like no other. Then the work has to happen. And see, the work and the want got to add up together to want each other. Then that puts you in a position to win. Ain't nobody giving you no W. You got to go take that thing, man.
Your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life. Don't be trapped by dogma, which is living with the results of other people's thinking. Don't let the noise of others' opinions drown out your own inner voice. And most important, have the courage to follow your heart and intuition. They somehow already know what you truly want to become. Everything else is secondary.
Life is precious, and it's beautiful just to wake up in the morning. Before I used to take it all for granted. I didn't care. I didn't care about nothing. I didn't care about family, friends, relatives, achievements. I didn't care about fuck all. I just didn't care. But now, after going to hell and back, I appreciate fresh air and a glass of water. Gratitude. Smaller things in life. Because when you've lost, you never know what you've really got until it's gone.
Yeah.
But I've had the opportunity to be shot down and come back. You know, and you really find out who your friends are, who the people are really behind you, who leaves, who jumps off, and everybody just loves a winner. Nobody wants to be around a loser. Nobody wants to be around a man who's lost his mind.
The greatest version of you demands that you are extreme. I can tell you this, that every great person I know has this extreme personality, this intense, passionate desire to cut out negativity, to constantly lean into the sides of their comfort zone, to keep the promises to themselves, even when you don't feel like doing things, by the way. There's gonna be plenty of times where you don't feel like waking up, but you do it anyway. You don't feel like getting your workout in, but you do it anyway. You don't feel like drinking your 30 ounces of water, but you do it anyway. You don't feel like reading that book, but you do it anyway. You don't feel like making that sales call, but you do it anyway. You don't feel like eating clean, but you do it anyway, because that is what greatness demands of us. And if you are willing to lean into the sides of your comfort zone.
I've never seen anyone not be able to progress if they made the task small enough. But, you know, that can be pretty humiliating. Now, the upside is that once you've taken that first step, you've looked the beast in the face and you'll start progressing, not linearly, but exponentially in speed. So what's cool is that it doesn't really matter how small that first step is, because it'll start doubling, and anything that doubles grows unbelievably quickly. And so that's a very useful thing to know too. And that's true when you're learning anything new. It's like you'll feel like an imposter, you'll feel like a fool, because you are, and you'll think, I'll never get there, and it might, the destination might look very distant, but if you take a sufficiently small first step and get the ball rolling, you can be cruising along at a pretty good rate.
Stop telling your visions to other people, because they're not going to see it. Why you think you keep imagining opening a business? Why you keep imagining graduating, getting a better job? Why do you keep imagining buying a house? Why do you keep imagining driving a really nice car? Why do you keep imagining getting rich one day? Why do you keep imagining that? If you decide that you will be poor, there's nothing I can do. You're gonna be poor. If you decide to be rich today, who gonna stop you? Who? If you decide you want to be rich,
All you gotta do is start. Why not? Who gonna stop you? Unless you tell it to the wrong person.
Never consider yourself dumb, all right? When you don't succeed at something, you can't figure out, you're not dumb. You're not interested. You're uninterested. You're not interested in what you're doing. Something doesn't capture your attention. So people automatically, teachers and other educators say, oh, this individual is dumb because they can't figure this out. Well, think about all the things that you are interested in and how quickly you learn those things. Yeah. All right. A dumb person, no matter what you put out of them, even if they're interested, they can't figure that out. So never let anyone, including yourself, so this is the last time I want you to ever think of yourself as dumb. They just couldn't find what you were interested in. If they were able to find what you were interested in, you would have never used that terminology again. That's the difference. You found what you were interested in, and look where it's brought.
Don't walk through the world looking for evidence that you don't belong, because you will always find it. Don't walk through the world looking for evidence that you're not enough, because you'll always find it. Our worth and our belonging are not negotiated with other people. We carry those inside of our hearts.
Somebody asked me the other day, what did I learn about myself from the highs and lows of my life? The highest point of my life and the lowest point of my life, what did I learn about myself? And I said, I learned that I don't let the highs and the lows affect me too much. Because we're gonna have wins, we're gonna have losses. We're gonna have successes, we're gonna have failures. We're gonna have good nights, we're gonna have bad nights. We're gonna have good relationships, we're gonna have bad relationships. We're gonna have good ideas and bad ideas. We're gonna make money, we're gonna lose money. All these things are gonna happen. And if you oscillate emotionally up and down drastically, it's gonna be problematic. So finding a good, stable, centered way to be and look at the world and take everything that you see with a little bit of a grain of salt and don't get swayed too drastically in one direction or the other, you're gonna be okay.
I wanna see people win. I wanna see people win. And if we can continue to find real examples of supporting one another, especially within our culture, if we can really define moments where like we're helping to elevate, amplify, that shit is contagious. After a while, you got no choice but to follow suit.
Whenever there's no failure, there's no wrong. Whenever something doesn't go my way, it's because it wasn't supposed to. So when I say everything is God, you trust God. You think of the positives, not the negative. If one door closes, if you sit there and you staring at that one door, you're not looking around. 1,000 other doors have opened. All you gotta do is look around.
The only shortcut to life is to never miss a day. One, because of compounding interest, and two, because sometimes you get lucky. And you'll never miss a lucky day if you try every day. If you don't try every day, you might miss your lucky day. And that's what people don't understand. If you never miss a day and you never don't try and you're always on time and you try and improve every aspect of your life and you're a professional and you try and make sure that you analyze your decisions, you give yourself feedback, you don't make mistakes, you're not lazy. If you try and you make it to the top, you end up elitist because you look at the people down below and you're like, well, why didn't you try? I did.
I think you would give me everything you own in 25 years' time to be the age you are now and as healthy as you are right now. And I think it's a really interesting meditation to think about, right, if you had a time machine, if you were 30 years in the future, if you could be this healthy and feel this good and be this age, you'd give everything materially that you own in 30 years' time to be back here. And just to take that in for a minute, just to take a moment to think about, wow, this is amazing.